Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Shaw, editorial director at TigerFitness.com, Muscle and Brown Nutrition CEO. Still haven't gotten it in my new phone, so I'm using a Samsung G Pad for this video, so if the quality sucks, sorry. Guys, I got a great topic. It is from a gentleman who asks if weight training will fuck up your body. I'm sorry, I'm going to use the F word in this video because it's in his title, it's in his question. Does weightlifting fuck up your body as you age? It's a great question. Before I get into that topic, guys, if you have a question for me, check out the link below. You can submit your questions. They come straight to my inbox. The best questions I turn into videos just like this. So the question is from Alexander, and I'm going to read it. It says, Steve, I recently read a comment on YouTube from a user who claims to be about 60 years old. I believe on the topic, age is just a number. He stated that weight training fucked up his body, this is a direct quote, especially his joints, although he has always used proper form. I want you to remember that. Always use proper form, okay? What are your thoughts on this? Does training damage your body so you will suffer when you're older? All right, look, for most guys, training is going to fuck up their body if they do it over the course of their life, and here's why. Because bodybuilding culture, and I've been around this culture since 1986. I was heavily into bodybuilding, the bodybuilding culture for 25 years. And they always talk about using good form. I use good form. I hear bodybuilders a lot talk about how they use good form, and they mean well. God bless them, they mean well. But when you train with them, their form is not good. What they usually mean, what a lot of guys mean when they say their form is good, is that it's controlled, it's not explosive, it's not bouncy, it's, whatever. It isn't really what power lifters or what we consider good form in the modern era. They don't typically study bench press form or deadlift form or squat form. They just consider anything not explosive or bouncing off the chest to be good form. So when a lifter says that they use good form, you have to take it with a grain of salt. That doesn't mean, there's a very small chance that when they say that they actually know what good form is. So take that with a grain of salt. Now, listening to your body is essential. I'm 49 years old, headed towards age 50, trying to set an all-time, not a federation, an all-time world record for over the age of 50 in powerlifting. My body feels great. What is the key for me? It is listening to my body instead of sticking to a specific program. It is evolution of training. It is small tweaks. It is working with what my body gives me, being smart about things. For example, small tweaks can make a big difference. When I do skull crushers or line tricep extensions with low reps, 5 to 8 rep sets for an extended period of time, I notice that I get elbow tenderness or inflammation. So what do? I switch to higher reps, 12 to 15 reps. I also alternate between skull crushers and dumbbell skull crushers. So I'm doing a different variation. I'm trying new things. I'm listening to what my body tells me, and I'm working with that. So that's a very important part of longevity. You also have to understand that if you're doing things right, as an intermediate lifter, you can't continue to pound yourself over and over again with a volume of heavy work. When I go into the gym and I train heavy every week, I do a minimal amount of heavy sets. Like last night, I went into the gym, I did 1 heavy bench press set, and then I did 2 back off sets, and then I did 2 dumbbell bench press sets. So I did 5 total bench press sets if you include the dumbbell bench press, but only the first one was heavy. On deadlifts, I've made modifications such as I never pull from the floor, or I rarely pull from the floor. I typically pull from 3 to 7 inches off the ground. This helps save my lower back. So the point here is that beating up your joints is going to come down to several things. Number 1, not knowing good form, not really learning real form. Number 2, beating the crap out of your body with a lot of volume or a lot of heavy work week in and week out. I don't train with a lot of volume. I make every set count. I also recommend, obviously, there's the point I mentioned about training evolution, making small tweaks and listening to your body. If you can't do this, you're screwed. You're absolutely screwed. And the last point I'll make here, and this is something I consider to be a big one. There are a lot of people on YouTube who are against wrist wraps and knee wraps and stuff like that. Well, about 7, 8 years ago, when I hit age 40, 41, 42, I was getting a lot of palm strains, wrist strains, hamstring strains, etc. So I decided to start using wraps. Well, here's the thing. Since I've started using wraps, 99%, probably 95 to 99% of my strains and pains are gone. That support actually does help. Now, yes, there is some evidence that it might weaken the tendons in these joints, in these areas, in the wrists and knees. That's a fair point. But the benefits far outweigh the negatives, because once you strap that on, you're going to provide extra support. It's going to be harder for your wrist to do this. Your palm's going to be healthier. Your wrist's going to be healthier over the long run. Same thing with the knee. Now, I will put a caveat. If you use wrist wraps or knee wraps, don't just stop using them and continue to use the same way. If you get off wrist wraps or knee wraps, you have to kind of build back up and re-strengthen those tendons in that area. So if you train like a fool, you're going to get hurt. And when you hear something on the internet from these guys who are beating up their body and they're a train wreck, they go too heavy too often, their form sucks, they're not training smart, they're training hard. You have to train smart and hard. You have to set aside a lot of the dogma out there, like Joe Schmo says this is the right amount of volume, or Joe Schmo says I should be doing a 5x3 heavy or whatever. You have to take those programs and you have to modify them over time to fit your body and to help you stave off injuries. When I get an injury in training, and I'm talking minor injuries because I don't typically get major injuries. When I get a minor injury, I ask myself what variables are involved, and I will tweak those variables. What exercises am I doing? Am I doing an exercise too frequently? If skull crushers are hurting my elbows, should I stop doing them every week and do them every other week? There are many ways to address an injury, but you have to be smart about it. Look at the variables and be willing to try new things, different rep ranges, a lower frequency for the lift, lower volume in general, lower frequency with heavy training, etc. So just keep that in mind. And again, the big take-home point is when these guys on the internet say they have good form, 98% of them, I'd say maybe 95% of them, don't have good form at all. They're just trying to stay slow and controlled and do the whole bodybuilder thing and not use any power in their lifts. I use power in my lifts. That's not dangerous because I have good form. So guys, hope this video has been of some help. If you have any questions or comments, check out the link below. If you've made it this far in this video and have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd appreciate the support. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day.